Hi, folks. And lately we've had a lot of discussion about racing naked, meaning not using a watch, not paying attention, using effort, and just a lot of conversation about effort in general. And of course, you hear me say all the time about effort trumping pace. So I thought I would dig a little bit deeper into that and take a look at the pacing and why we do that, and blessing or curse, if you will. And it really is both. So first of all, little background. You have to understand, I think you do. Every run has a purpose. There's never a run that's just for the heck of it. There is a purpose behind that run. And at a really simplistic level, I know some of you will say, well, I think there's more to it. Yes, there's more to it than this, but at a really simplistic level, you're either doing number one, building endurance, number two, building stamina, number three, building speed. And they come in that order. And what I mean by that is when it comes to racing, speed can never exceed your stamina. Stamina can never exceed your endurance. And so one of the reasons we spend so much time on endurance is it's the foundation for everything else. But generally speaking, every single run looking to improve endurance, stamina, or speed. So remember back maybe when you first started running, unless you've been running your entire life, 1 mile. Sometimes getting to the end of the block was a real challenge. And you said, oh my gosh, I can't get to the end of the block without stopping. I can't go a mile without stopping. How will I ever do a 5K, 10K, half, full marathon, ultra, which most of you have done? That is because the way it works is a constant cycle of stress and recovery. So what we do in training, we go back and we have workouts that are designed to stress us from an endurance standpoint, or stress from a stamina point, or stress from a speed standpoint. Your body reacts to that stress, and when you recover, it will build you a little bit stronger so that in case you do that again, you're able to do a little bit better. And that's why you couldn't run to the end of the block at one point in time, and now maybe you're doing a half marathon or a full marathon. It's that constant cycle of stress, recover, stress, recover. So what we want is to always have the right amount of stress for the fastest improvement. Right amount of stress. You maybe have heard of junk miles. I don't really prescribe to junk miles. I think all miles, all running is going to help improve your fitness, at least by and large. But what we want to do is the more often we have exactly the right stress, the faster you're going to improve. So it's very important to have the right stress. So how do we do that? Typically, we're doing that with a bunch of different calculators. So there's one called McRun, which is by Macmillan. That's the one I tend to use. There's a VDOT et al. There's all kinds of different calculators out there. And what the calculators do is they take a recent race time and they make an estimation for what paces would you normally be at to improve endurance. What paces would you normally be at to improve your stamina? What paces would you normally be at to improve your speed? And those are the paces that you will see in the plans based upon those race results. Besides pace, heart rate is sometimes used. Power is becoming more and more popular. So there's a bunch of different ways that we will use numbers from your results to say, how do we cause stress for endurance? How do we cause stress for stamina? How do we cause stress for speed so that you can get better and better? Here's the problem though. There's a lot of things that affect those, and we'll just stick with pace for right now. So temperature, humidity, wind, hills, how recovered you are, what's going on in your life, your fitness level, I'll get back to that. All those things will have an impact on what that pace is like to get to the right stress. So hills is a really good example. Let's face it, if the prescribed pace is, say, to run a 9-minute mile, and you've got a really steep uphill and you still do a 9-minute mile, that stress is nowhere near the same as planned because that effort going up the hill is significantly higher. So all these things have the ability to change what that stress will be, higher or lower, depending on what's going on. And fitness is a big one. It's one that we don't always talk about. Remember, all those paces, heart rate, everything is usually based upon a recent race result. Well, if you've become more fit, which is the purpose of training, you might actually need to be going faster or harder, have a different effort to get to that same stress. Likewise, if for some reason you're a little bit less fit. So let's face it, you get a little bit less fit when you're recovering from a race. Maybe the pace is a little bit different. So your fitness level changes, and that matters as well. Maybe give an example. Let's say that based upon the race results, a tempo run for you is about 8:30 to 8:15. Well, if the conditions are all perfect, meaning the temperature, the hills, the heat, the humidity, dew point, none of those things are a factor. And if your fitness is pretty much unchanged exactly where we thought it was, then 8:30 to 8:15 is probably a pretty reasonable pace for you to run. But if any of those other factors are in play, then that might not be right anymore. So let's say that it's been 6 weeks since that race, and your fitness has improved. Maybe your tempo pace is actually more like 8:05 to 7:50 now. Maybe it's improved, but we still have that pace in there from your recent race results. So again, all those conditions and your fitness level can change what happens with that stress, because at the end of the day, your body cares about the stress. It doesn't care about the pace. It doesn't care about your heart rate. It doesn't care about the power. When you're done working out, the brain kind of checks in with the body and says, hey, how was that? Your body will relay back to the brain what the stress was, and then the brain says, okay, let's dispatch some people down there. Let's build you a little bit stronger in case that stress level happens again. It's not driven by pace, heart rate, power, or anything else. So then you might say, well, then why do we use it? Really, because we love numbers. Pace is real easy. It's definitive. As our heart rate and power, we can see it. We can see if there's been a change. We don't always know if that change is good, but we know if we used to run at a 9-minute and now we're doing it at 8:55, that must be good because we're doing better. So we love to have those numbers. There's something we can latch on to. But the reality of it is, really, the best way to train really is by effort. Virtually nobody likes to do that because we love our numbers, but really effort factors everything in. If it's a hot day, if it's a hilly day, if you've got stress going on in your life, you're not well recovered, you're more fit, you're less fit, that effort will automatically play in and make that and give you an opportunity to hit the right stress more often. Is it perfect? No. Sometimes you can perceive your effort to be wrong. There isn't anything that's perfect, but by and large, effort really is the best way to tell whether or not you've got the right stress. So right now, for the training plans I'm writing, I think with virtually everybody, I continue to put in the paces. I'm happy to continue to do that. But if you're interested in going to effort, let me know, and we can change to that.